Yeah. Hey, this is Brennan. Good audio. Hello, testing. Yeah. Okay. Now listen. You don't want to see my ugly face. I look like a complete madman. But I tell you, I'm in pain. Okay. So that's why I'm wearing headphones because this is where I grew up, and I'm outside. Okay. The palm tree's out here, but that doesn't save anybody. Um, that I'm hoping the audio is good. So this is what I'm trying to say. I'm tired. No. Yeah, it is late. It's 8:30. So anyways, um, I have I grew up in California. This is my life story. Okay, my life story. I grew up in California. I um, I let you enjoy the toxic scenery of my childhood home. Used to be a pond right underneath that deck there, and then they covered it with this some sort of bad language that I descriptive for the people who didn't, all this. So, anyways, I grew up in California, really did. First generation, no history, and this is what no history gets: a bunch of sort of good attempts, starts, the rock wall, um, house, all this diagonal stuff on it. But then basically you have to rely on the first generation to actually grow up in California. And what are they doing there? Who cares, right? I mean, it's just all a bunch of nuts and screws and good and bad shoes. So it's about ET phone home basically. That's the classic example about it's a kid. He's 10 years old. He's left-handed. He articulate, intelligent. And he's got an older brother and younger sister. That's me, okay? Except when my dad was in Mexico, I was there with him. Unfortunately, there was no differentiation. So my parents, they're uh, Wisconsin, born, bred, and educated, all the above, even married there. And then as soon as they get some babies, it's like, okay, let's go out west. This is the mule you ride in on. You can literally go anywhere with a child because that gives you importance. But the child might not be happy. What I'm trying to elaborate is, okay, the E.T., Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, for Fort Hood, Virginia Tech, all these people were first generation feasibility studies, and sometimes it gets really bad. And like, 50 years we'll all be chicks. Yeah, that's the kind of badness I'm talking about. It's good to have a masculine, feminine, attitude, simply a good attitude. But if history is ignored, then there's one person who's seriously in doubt. Um, and that person, if they're, you know, people always want to turn it back into some Nazi thing. It's always coming back to that about some you just don't like primitive people or something like that. And my rebuke to that is that when I grew up in Santa Cruz, California, I went to two different private schools on opposite ends of the county, totally different. One was seventh and eighth was Catholic, fifth and sixth was non-religious, totally really high quality education there. Community Interplay in Watsonville, California, and in both instances, the teacher counted the number of lefties in the class, and this was her dying schools, and there was a lot of left-handed children. I was too young to really focus in on that because you'd have to be crazy, and if a child is crazy, they really are crazy. Okay, so they teacher counted and said, okay, that's strange. There's a whole lot of lefties in here. And this happened in both schools. And incidentally, in both of these schools, I was informed that Santa Cruz, California, near San Francisco, was home to, the evil guy, the guy who wrote the book Mein Kampf. You can't even say his name, but he killed you know, millions of people. I want to say hundreds of billions, but we haven't reached the deficit yet of our guilt. That's why, just kind of focus in on the garbage pile out there. It's probably out there. Um, Look, 52 degrees. Oh, everything's fine now. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were in Wisconsin where everyone's Western and American. Here, tengo que hablar muchos espuchicatomes, nothing. It's very much like Vietnam, uh, here, because that's how America's going. Where we went, and that's what the shoe we're trying to wear. So basically, I think I'm gonna check the minutes here. So I I've quantified this stuff, and it's just it's statistically, culturally, there's basically a culture war. But when you say culture war, people are gonna say, "Oh, you mean blacks and whites?" Now those are both Americans, very American people. Um, And then you could say, oh no, it's the gays and the straights, and that's the culture war, the culture of gayness and stuff like that. And that's not, it's purely ethno-normative. You go far enough away, and things are going to be different. And theoretically, everyone has a place where they should not be, and historically they would not ever be, unless if manifest destiny sort of said, oh, damn the Rocky Mountains. Oh. Yeah. So, that's it. How's that?
Take your headphones off. That's right.